All right, so we're gonna start by making some guesses, okay? So I have 3 brothers. We know this. All right, I want you to try to guess 3 pictures are the pictures of my 3 brothers. As you're guessing, I want you to jot down your reasoning for choosing each picture. So like why you chose each picture. These are my 8 pictures. I want you to go ahead and pick the 3 that you think are my brothers. Now that you have jotted down your 3 answers, I'm going to tell you this guy right here, number 2, as well as number 4 and number, 8. I did my best. It's out of order. Number 8 are all my brothers. Okay, so as, I think we look alike to some degree. All right, so I want you to tell me the answer to the question. Why do siblings look alike? Go ahead and write that response in your notes. According to you, why do you think siblings look alike? Now we're going to make another guess. I want you to try one more thing. Try to find my mom. All right? You found my brothers. Now try to find my mom. These are my 4 pictures. Okay? All of them are related to me, but I want you to try find the one that's my mom. If you guessed number 2, you would be correct. Okay, number 2 right here is the one that's a picture of my mom. So I want you to go ahead and tell me the answer to the question. Why do kids look like their parents? Go ahead and write that response in your notes. Now, for each of those 2 questions, if you mention anything that has to do with genes, you would be correct. A real quick review. What was one of the characteristics that is common to all living things that's related to this unit? We had 5 that you reviewed in your do now. Which one is one that it has to do with this unit? If you said all living things reproduce, you would be correct. Okay? So all living things reproduce. That's what we're going to be focusing on. Okay? And as we are focusing on that, we are going to be focusing on the cell cycle, which is how cells themselves prepare for division. Okay? And cell division is a way in which the cells reproduce. All right? There are 2 different ways that organisms reproduce that we're going to be focusing on. All right, we've got asexual and sexual reproduction. Now, we've already gone over these. This is a quick recap. Asexual reproduction involves one parent. All the cells are genetically identical, and all prokaryotes and some eukaryotes reproduce that way. Just as a reminder, prokaryotes do not have a nucleus. Eukaryotes do, okay? Whereas in sexual reproduction, it involves 2 parents. Those 2 parents are genetically unique. And most eukaryotes reproduce this way. Okay? So that's our real recap. There are 2 different main types of eukaryotic cells when it comes to the human body. Okay? There are somatic cells, which is all the cells that make up your organs and tissues except sex cells. And then there are sex cells, which are the cells that are involved in reproduction. And there are only 2 kinds. All right? So I want you to give me some examples of somatic cells. Based on our little definition there, as well as give me 2 examples that you can think of sex cells. Excuse me. All right, of sex cells. All right, so go ahead and write those down for me. Now, these are some major types of cells that exist in living organisms. We've got stem cells, bone cells, blood cells, muscle cells, fat cells, skin cells, nerve cells, endothelial cells, pancreatic cells, cancer cells, and of course our sex cells. Okay? Every type of cell that is on this page that is not your sex cell, everything other than the sex cell, okay, is a somatic cell. So if you said any of those, okay, you would have been correct. Okay? And just a quick recap, if you said egg and sperm for your sex cells, you would be correct. Those are our 2 types of sex cells, eggs and sperm. Okay, so to wrap it up, What do you think the difference is between sexual and asexual reproduction? And what is the difference between somatic and sex cells? Go ahead and write those down in your notes. We'll go over them when you're done. All right. So the difference between asexual and sexual, obviously asexual has one parent, sexual has two. Okay. Asexual has genetically identical offspring. Sexual has genetic variation or genetically unique offspring. Okay. And then asexual happens in mostly prokaryotes and sexual happens in mostly eukaryotes. The difference between somatic and sex cells. Okay, somatic cells are all the cells that make up our body that are not sex cells. Okay, and our sex cells are just the egg and sperm. Okay, great job. If you have any questions, raise your hand. Other than that, I will talk to y'all later. My loves, have a lovely day.